This entire set just reeks of poverty. You literally look like you woke up in a trash can next to Oscar the Grouch in Sesame Street and he had kicked you out for smelling too much like garbage. I have spent so much time doing build videos. I enjoy them. I love making different builds. I love discussing gear, but I haven't really talked a lot about different sets of gear in this game that are completely and utterly garbage. So in this one, we are going to focus on 6 of the worst legendary armor sets that you could possibly waste your time grinding for and probably only exist to make it so that you have a worse chance at getting the gear that you really truly want. This video is going to be funny. I'm going to talk a lot of shit. Hopefully we can all have a laugh. If at any point in time you like it, feel free to click that like, that comment, that subscribe button. Growing this channel almost at 800 subs. We're going to cover 6 legendary armor sets which are complete trash and they are going to ascend in trashiness. So number 1 is going to be the worst set that you can think of. You probably already are on the same wavelength and know exactly which one it is. Each legendary armor set I will be covering will focus on the pros that don't really exist, the myriad number of cons, as well as a 4-point ranking system. Each area will be out of 10 points. These will be measuring style, synergy between gear and builds, individual mod strength, and set bonus strength, aka the big money. If you're using a legendary set, you want a dope bonus. Without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off at number 6, it's gonna have to be the Deathproof Set for the Devastator. I don't know how much time you've put into thinking about the Deathproof Set, but you probably have spent too much time if it's ever even crossed your mind for a split second. It is completely worthless. For our ranking system, let's go ahead and assign some numerical values so you can follow along and see if you disagree with me. For our swag factor, it's gonna have to be a solid 8. I think this set is really cool. This art department for People Can't Fly have really nailed the aesthetic. This forest green kind of armor, chunky, thick boy set we got here is actually really cool looking and I love the appeal of it. That's part of the reason why I tried it out. When I have the ability to see how cool an armor set is in any video game, because the aesthetic to me is so important, I will always give it a try, even if I know in my heart of hearts that it's going to be trash. And that's exactly what this is. The synergy between the gear itself is going to have to be a 2. And this is because it is a set which utilizes Boulder Dash for damage and buffing your damage. The problem is, though, Boulder Dash isn't really good for anything. Like, imagine building your Devastator around Boulder Dash. What are you doing? Just running around all the time uncontrollably like a wild man flaying your arms about? It makes no sense to have bonus firepower on this set. Explain to me how this works. Maybe I just can't figure it out. The whole point of the set bonus is reduce the cooldown of Boulder Dash by 90%. Okay, so in theory, we're going to be in Boulder Dash pretty much all the time. 90% is a huge cooldown buff. With nice mods in a setup, you can get the cooldown to about 1 second. So if you're spamming this on cooldown, which it seems like the set is trying to have you do, when are you going to be shooting your gun? 1 second of shooting is not a lot of time to shoot the gun. That sounds to me like it should be all bonus anomaly power. We would want to make Boulder Dash do as much damage as humanly possible because we're literally spamming it every 1 second. But in practice, what we're getting is this weird quasi buffing your gun damage thing with Boulder Dash. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand the point of any of it. Nothing works together on this setup, and it leaves you scratching your head because why the hell does this setup need firepower ever if you just want me to be a wild caveman running about flaying my arms and trying to melee and Boulder Dash onto everyone's faces? This is also a bit more confusing to me when there's a single tier 1 mod which basically renders this entire set worthless. 50% reduction of cooldown for Boulder Dash with a tier 1 mod? That is crazy to think you'd spend 3 legendary armor pieces to get it down to 90%. And again, imagine building around Boulder Dash. This skill sucks ass. I don't understand the point of it. The set bonus is definitely a 0. And the mod strength, we're going to give a 4 just because we're nice. And some of these mods are actually kind of helpful. If you did want to use Boulder Dash to buff your weapon damage on a much smarter and better build setup, you can do that. But other than that, this has nothing going for it. And a strong showing for our first most useless legendary armor set of this video. Coming into the number 5 spot, it has to be the Trespasser Set for the Trickster. I really wanted to do a build video on the Trespasser Set after seeing a lot of people on the internet saying how dope it was. I did not share that sentiment. This set is incredibly confused. For our ranks here, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for swag. I think it looks really, really cool. I love the nice blue accents which synergize really well with your twisted rounds and also the Torment and Agony pistols, which are some of my favorite pistols in the game. The synergy between your gear is a 5 because because there's a lot of confusion going on here. We'll get to that in a second. The mod strength is 2, not a lot of super ultra potent mods from these legendary pieces of armor. And the set bonus strength is a 3, and that's more of a pity offering because really, I don't know what the point is. It makes no sense to me. Why would you use a Trickster with the Trespasser set? Why would you need a bubble every other 20 seconds to save your life? Would you not be wiser to build a Trickster that either has more life leech or just armor in general? It seems so weird to me that you'd build an entire character around having invulnerability every other 30 seconds for 10 seconds when you could just make your character stronger and use a different armor set. When I see or think about this build, it just is a white flag being waved in the air, and your sole reason for existing on a team is to deflect bullets because your team consisting of 3 completely incompetent, incapable individuals who are all so bad and have created a trio of builds so poorly synergized. You are counting on a 10-second bullet slowing bubble every other 20 seconds because you literally have no sustain whatsoever. Imagine being a devastator and being like, where's the bubble? I'm gonna die out here, bro. I need it. I need the bubble. Where is it at? It's on cooldown. Just survive. Just survive. I got 15 more seconds until it comes back. Just live until then. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. What a weird way to try to make a support character. Even if this game did reward people for playing support characters, which definitely is not a thing, for sure. It's just a pure DPS check. But even if it did, this seems like the weirdest possible way to go about supporting your team. I don't understand it whatsoever. This is particularly disappointing to me because I really wanted to do a build video with the Trespasser set. I had a whole meme like queued up, like prepare for bubble and make it double, because I wanted to use the tier 3 mod from the Master Tool or Master Key legendary weapon, which gives you a bullet stopping dome upon kills. That is cool, especially when you have 2 bubbles. It really is awesome. I think it's very visually appealing to play this character. The dome looks awesome. But aside from stopping bullets, which, by the way, most of the expeditions are aliens that don't even have bullets, so it's like you have to cherry pick a certain number and set of expeditions to make it work at maximum efficiency to begin with. Also, it's really, really punishing when you go for the Twisted Rounds Trickster build and don't fully lean into dealing damage. Speccing into anything that isn't the bonus damage when you're using a rounds build just leaves me scratching my head. The good news with the setup is that because your damage output is going to be such shit, you really will be able to get a lot of use out of your bubble frequently because no one's going to die in the time it takes for your bubble to come off of cooldown. So you got that going for you. Trickster fun. Trickster has a lot of build variety. Trickster is powerful. Trespasser set, that's going to be a no from me, dog. Moving on to number 4, the Torturer's set for the Pyromancer. Now, I have to start off by saying, unfortunately, I don't have the helm to show you because, yikes, that thing is super rare. After breaking it down for one of the best pyro mods in the game, which we'll get to in a second, I never saw another one. And I have a lot of time spent on my pyro. Never found 2. Took the mod and called it a day and just, again, never got another one. So, unfortunately, I can't show you that on my beautiful body, so you're just gonna have to imagine it's like a cool swirly moving face thing. After that helmet, we have a lot to dissect here. Because the helmet is one of the coolest pieces of gear aesthetically in this game, we're gonna give this set a 1 for swag. Otherwise it would be a 0, and that is because if I were to describe the Torturer's set, let me go back in time a little bit. I know most of you guys are my age because I have analytics, right? But if you had forgotten, or if you are a bit younger, there was a time in the early aughts where homeless chic was in fashion. Yes. Before Keanu Reeves was the guy from John Wick killing people who touched his dog, he started a trend that would change Hollywood forever, where famous people who made more money in a day than I've ever seen in my entire life were dressing like they were homeless. It makes no sense now. It made no sense then. But if I could define it in one video game, it would be the Torturer set. It is homeless chic. You look like trash. You have literally nothing working for you aesthetically. It's hideous. You look homeless. I already said that. And it's not getting better the longer I look at this. For our synergy between gear, I'm actually going to give it an 8. A lot of the mods and attributes of the set actually do really work well together. So it's going to be pretty high up there as far as synergy. For our mod strength, this gets a 10 because there are a couple mods, as mentioned, that are incredibly powerful. The Death Sentence mod that I got from the Torturer's hat is one of the best mods for the Pyromancer. The Ash Blast meta build in this game is completely based around getting that mod. This is going to have to be a 10. For the set bonus strength, it is 0. It is completely worthless. I can't even tell the difference between the set bonus being active and set bonus being inactive. All it does is provide you with a bigger aura for your fiery rounds. That sounds kind of cool, I guess, but unless you're intentionally missing, then what is the point? There's just, it doesn't do anything. This pyromancer ash weapon build is just so strong. You don't really need much to crack it wide open and just have insane firepower and a little sustain to go along with it. And a lot of these mods allow you to do just that. The Ashes and Leeches one, where you use Ash Blast and get huge weapon life leech for a while, is a great way to stay alive. And there are numerous other mods on this setup which are very helpful for the pyromancer, particularly if you are using an ash weapon build. After that though, it doesn't look so good. God, I just can't get past the aesthetic of this. It's just so hard to look at. Moving right along to number 3, we're going to stay on the pyromancer, and this is going to be the Lava Lich set. I think that this was by far the most disappointing set I have tried in this game. It looks so cool. It is hands down one of the prettiest hats in this game. It's got like a little face on there that you can see through the freaking whatever that is, the lava lich skin or whatever. It's just so cool looking. I wanted to make an eruption build so badly before this game would even come out, and I was playing the demo and we just knew there was going to be that big explodey boy skill once the full game came out. Just the buff of 10% is basically a joke and doesn't help you do anything. A cooldown of 20 seconds is as far as I could get it to go down with this set bonus active is just trash and completely unusable. Aside from the fact that what type of pyromancer wouldn't just want to use the Akari set because the bonus is mind-shatteringly powerful, you don't really get much bang for your buck with this set. For our ranking, swag is going to be a 9. This set is absolutely beautiful. I think each and every single piece is cooler than the last. Even the pants look fantastic. The synergy between gear is going to get a 3. A lot of these mods don't really work that well together. I think it's trying to get you to use a ton of damage for your phaser and for your eruption, but in application it doesn't really work out that well. For mod strength, there are a couple good mods here, so I'm going to give it a 6, and that's only because it has my favorite mod in the game on any character, and that's going to give me those big, bright, juicy orange balls floating around my chest, and I love my big balls. For the set bonus strength, it's going to be a 1, and the only reason that it even gets that is because it's out of pity that I wanted it to work so badly. 40% bonus to your eruption is pretty much irrelevant. 10% cooldown is definitely irrelevant, and it's really a crying shame that this game is so into DPS checks that it couldn't even make an eruption build work. Just follow me here for a second. You can hit for 2 million plus easily with your phaser beam. I've done it on this channel. I've showcased phaser beam builds. I love phaser beam. It's fantastic. Why the hell is eruption a 20 plus second cooldown for less than 500,000 damage if I can pop 2 million damage hits with phaser every 6.7 seconds? It defies logic. I don't understand what the thought process is there, and I really hope this is one of the things that they buff in an upcoming patch, because as mentioned, it makes no sense. You want a high alpha damage attack. I understand that it needs a long fatty cooldown, otherwise it would be completely broken, but the damage just isn't even that dope. Like, what am I hitting for with this? 600-700k? It's trash. You get 3 charges and then you're sitting there with your dick in your hand for 20 plus seconds waiting for your ability to come back. Because, by the way, you can only have 2 pieces of Lava Lich gear that have cooldown on them, and that's going to be the boots and the frickin' gloves, and those give max health, so you're automatically shooting yourself in the foot if you use those 2 pieces, losing out on anomaly power just to get a reasonable cooldown of 21 seconds, bro? Yikes. This is not made any better by the fact that the current meta fast DPS clear Ash Blast setup is no joke. That thing just deletes entire maps of enemies, and that has a faster cooldown than Eruption, which is absolutely crazy that somehow it's okay for a pyro to clear maps and eat ass at the speed of light, but you can't even have a fun setup with Eruption. Shame. Coming in tough at the number 2 slot has to be the Borealis Monarch set, and man, oh man, this is going to be our first 10-pointer on the swag chart. I think this is one of the prettiest sets in the game. It is so cool. The hat just speaks to me. It's a literal crown for a Monarch. It's beautiful. The chest piece and the eyeballs on the mask glow a little bright green that matches perfectly when you have a toxic round gun active in your hands. It is phenomenally pretty. The whole aesthetic to me is just so almost steampunk crossed with some sort of necromancer, like a technomancer, but with, you know, tech. And I love it. For synergy between our gear, it's actually going to be a 10 here as well. Everything on this set works together perfectly. The mods you get work perfectly with the other mods. You don't have to change much. It really comes fresh out of the box, fantastic. Mod strength is also going to be an 8. There's some good mods here that, again, you don't really need to mess with, and that pretty much immediately make your character stronger. Unfortunately, the reason that this set is on this list is because the set bonus strength is a literal 0. The set bonus of doing bonus damage against frozen targets does not work at all, and that leaves you scratching your balls with a pitiful 8-second buff of 10% critical damage after you use Cold Snap. Oh, that's rough. Cold Snap usually won't have a cooldown faster than 25 seconds, so you can see the math and know that your critical damage buff of 10%, which is not that big to begin with, is basically a flash in the pan, and it's not something that can be reasonably counted on to aid your damage output consistently. Now, People Can't Fly have announced they are actively working on fixing the set any day now, just like they have when they first announced it did not work about 2 months ago. I'm holding my breath. I think that the problem with this set, and maybe why they aren't motivated to fix it, is because if they do fix this set, that would be a buff to the Technomancer. And if there is one character in this game who does not need a single buff, it's going to be the Technomancer. You can put 2 pieces of shit onto the Technomancer's hat, chest, and pants, call it a day, and he's going to be one of the fastest CT15 clear times in this game. The Technomancer is brutally powerful, and you don't need any buffs to help you, so you might as well run this set because it looks so cool. That's actually what I did. I didn't even know this set was broken until I got a video, which was my most popular video ever, by the way. Up to 14k views now. Let's go. Not to I'm so humble. The first like 15 comments are like, bro, you know that set bonus doesn't work. I was like, what? But the damage is so high. It'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with the set. They did say that they were planning on reworking the whole thing, so it wouldn't just be such a flat, fat damage buff for the Technomancer. Can't wait to see it. Really actually want to play my Techno again. I played it for the footage showed in the background, and it's just so easy. It's just so easy. Kick your feet up and grab a beer and just hold down the trigger with the Techno. You literally can't go wrong. It is just so easy, and I kind of want to do that, especially after trying to make that Trespasser set work on the Trickster. And now it's time for the moment anyone who is still watching this video has been waiting for. The #1 most useless, completely worthless, does absolutely nothing of any semblance of value in this game. You know it, I know it. Everybody make some noise for the Cannonball set. What is the point of this set? I'm seriously asking. This entire set just reeks of poverty. I don't open my games up to the public, but if I did, I can't imagine a faster way for someone to tell me that they had absolutely no idea what the fuck they were doing in Outriders without having to say a single word than to join my game while swearing the Cannonball set. Why does it exist? What's the point? I don't understand. The only thing I can come up with is that it exists solely to take away your chances of getting actually good and decent Legenbarely, Man-Barely for your character. Now, one of the things you might be asking is, Maid Bro, why do you even have the full Cannonball set? That's a great question, and I wish it wasn't the case, but I keep it on hand on the character I'm grinding so that I have at least one chance of a reroll anti-dupe system working for me. With the anti-dupe system, if they detect gear in your inventory, your stash, that means they will reroll it one time, so I get at least one free reroll of guaranteeing not to get a fucking Cannonball piece, and currently that means I'm trying to farm the impossible Bugaki/Ugaki helm for the Trickster. Spoiler alert, it's not working. Stacking the deck is actually not working at all. For our point system, we're going to go with a 0 for swag because you literally look like you woke up in a trash can next to Oscar the Grouch in Sesame Street and he had kicked you out for smelling too much like garbage. For synergy between gear, it's going to be a 0 because there's no synergy on this build whatsoever. 3 pieces of max health on your head, on your chest, and on your pants. That makes no sense. The other sets all put the good stats on the helm, the chest, and the pants, but on this one, you get max health for those 3 because fuck you, that's why. For your mod strength, I actually am going to give this a 5, and that's for one reason and one reason only. The Cannonball gloves are the most important mod out of any character on Outriders that you pretty much use all the time for every single build I've ever done, basically, and anything I ever see on YouTube. You need the bonus damage against elites. It is amazing. I did an entire video about how great and rare those gloves were for a time for me. I love that mod. It's amazing. You need it. So for that reason and that reason only, I give it a 5. Otherwise, this set with mod strength would come in at a -10 just to make me feel better about having to look at it during this stupid video. For our set bonus strength, it's going to have to be a -5. And that's because what the hell were they thinking when they designed this set? What? Melee enemies to refill the clip of your current magazine with a bonus firepower attribute armor piece. So I don't know if you know, in this game, melee is tied to anomaly power. So if you're going to give me a melee power set bonus, maybe give me anomaly power so I can actually use it to get kills with my melee. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm crazy here. What am I thinking? I don't know. But to me, it seems pretty stupid to ask me to melee to get freaking ammo for my gun if you want me to shoot the gun. I'm going to spec into stuff that makes the gun strong and not my fist strong. This set has everything you could ever not ask for, all wrapped up into one disgustingly pathetic package. I gotta tell you, this is actually the first time I've ever seen a character in the full Cannonball gear, and it looks worse than it did when I imagined it. I think the Cannonball set is a great way to close this video out. Just look at it. Just take one good look, one long hard look, and know that at least no matter how bad you are at this game, you have never and will never try to make a build that relies solely on the Cannonball set. Because if you do, I will beat you to death with your own shoe. That's about all I got for this one, folks. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to click that like, click that comment, click that subscribe button. Trying to grow the channel and having a blast doing it. Until next time, we out.